Ladies and gentlemen, we have Onision on the line. First question for you is a lot of people said if I were to interview you that I would have to pay you thousands and thousands of dollars. So I want to get that right out of the way. Did I pay you for this interview?
No, you didn't.
And you're doing
I didn't
this
request money.
and yeah, that's right, you didn't. And are you doing this out of your free will?
Yes, it's of my free will.
Awesome. Okay, now that that's out of the way, I believe, and this is my opinion, that you are right now the most hated YouTuber. Do you think that's true? And if so, why?
I think I've been that way for a very, very long time, and that's because I have trouble being normal on camera. I have the tendency to blow up my personality or exaggerate my personality for the sake of entertaining people more often than not.
So why do you go out of your way to make people hate you? Because it's like every video. I mean, this is from 2016 when I started watching you till now. Like every video, it just seems like you're really egging people on. You want people to be mad at you. I mean, that's the impression I've always got. Why?
Well, if you wanted people to like you, you probably wouldn't do what I do, which is kind of obvious in what you said. And that's because you're dealing with a person who doesn't see the value in people wanting to like them or anything like that. My primary focus is just to create whatever I think is funny or interesting and not please people, but rather just make sure I'm doing what I feel is worthwhile, worth saying, or something that's different than what every other content creator may be involving themselves in.
When these allegations started coming out, and I'm mainly talking about, let's say 5 months ago, Blair White uploaded a video titled "Exposing Onision Child Grooming," where she interviews Sarah. And Sarah explains that, basically she came to your home, you guys were her like guardians, and then you guys waited till she was 18 and hooked up with her, right? When this story first came out, September 5th, 2019, how come you didn't respond to this like right away? Why did you just keep quiet about this?
I was under threat of being left by my spouse if I said anything.
Okay. So in this scenario, which I think is the main scenario and the main negative points against you, is this allegations of you grooming this girl. How old was Sarah when she first came to your house, and were you actually her guardian? And just kind of explain that briefly.
So first, I'd like to establish that it's enormously debunked. I made a 30-minute video just showing how many times Sarah repeatedly said that nothing happened even when she was well into being 18. She said repeatedly that she was not groomed. She even said if anyone was groomed, it was us. And so I feel like because I know these texts are so authentic, all I would have to do is show them to literally a lawyer or whatever, and they would, I mean, it's really interesting that this person says they turn stuff into the police, because any police officer or agent or whatever can simply look at her repeatedly saying she was never groomed and repeatedly saying that nothing ever happens, even well into being 18. And they would say, "What's up? Why is your story completely contradictory? Why does this make no sense?"
Right, but didn't you upload
So
a video saying that you did in fact, have sex with her when she was 18 and 5 months, I believe?
I don't know if I said 18 and 5 months, but the point is that Sarah said that even well into being 18, we did not have sex. She was saying 18 and 5 months. In her text, she said, she was repeatedly pointing out that Kai had rejected her, like over and over and over again. And Sarah repeatedly said how badly she wanted to be with Kai in these texts, And Kai multiple times expressed to me that when he thought of being with Sarah, he felt like vomiting because it was such a uncomfortable situation for him. So again, when you have these receipts of somebody saying this to you, and you have a video of them saying on camera, clearly not under duress, clearly completely calm and composed, that nothing ever happened, and they're an adult when they're saying this, that nothing ever happened with Kai, and that Kai's completely innocent, Kai's always been appropriate, and then them going around saying, you know, completely contradictory things. You're sitting here with a person who couldn't possibly win a case against somebody except for, you know, the mob, who doesn't have a law degree, who doesn't actually understand the legal system. So it's a pretty uphill battle for anyone going into this, just because you're dealing with a bunch of people who, instead of going to the police initially, instead of handling this with a lawyer, they went to the masses and clout chased and started GoFundMes and did all these nonsensical things.
But don't you understand how the internet, right, would just take like the core, I would say the surface information about this and see you as the villain? I mean, this girl who's underage stays at your house. There's videos of you and your husband claiming that you are her guardian, or I think it was just your husband, not you. And then you slept with her after she turned 18. Do you see like how the internet would see this as grooming?
The problem is that everyone and all information points to this person being rejected even well into being 18. So when people push the grooming agenda, it doesn't make any sense, because there has to be some evidence that this person was actually prepared for a sexual relationship as a minor. And there's literally no evidence pointing to that. As far as actually being a guardian, I don't know of any evidence that there was a guardian, or I should say people like accuse us of being adopted parents or foster parents or anything like that. I don't know of a single signed document by myself or my spouse that there was any guardian status. I know that the other person, Sarah's mom, had signed a document saying that we had the right to, you know, make medical decisions for her and whatnot like that.
Right.
But I don't know of any actual proof, or I don't have any recollection that anything was signed on my part to actually accept that role. And it was consistently a joke in our house about it, but no one was actually acting like a parent. And Sarah was around us for a total of 10 months off and on over 2 years. So that doesn't really sound like a guardian. It sounds like somebody that you hang out with occasionally.
So there is a video of Kai saying that, you know, that she is the legal guardian, right? I don't know if those are the exact terms. I don't have that footage right here, but I'm going to play it right now. Roll it.
Greg is not a legal guardian of Sarah. I am.
In that video, is that a joke? Do you know the video that I'm referring to?
Well, yeah, no, I don't at all, actually.
I'm sorry, I don't have it right here for you to look at it, but there is a video. I've seen it.
Yeah, that's fine. It's difficult when you're speaking for other people. It's really difficult, like when I'm sitting here trying to talk about what Kai is or is not. But the point is that there's a huge flight records and all that. There's no actual parental indications or anything like that we were ever in a parental status. So someone saying that, you know, that's on them to defend themselves. I can't really speak for Kai, but what I can say is that Kai.
Some questions directly from Sarah, but before I get into that, do you understand?
Wait, hold on. That's weird. You're asking me questions from Sarah.
Yeah, no, I haven't asked you questions from Sarah yet, but I do have some. Can I ask you those questions?
That's creepy, but yeah, I guess so.
Okay. So Sarah said, why did Onision say, let's wait for Sarah to turn 18 when I was 15? Like, why did you say that as a joke? Did you ever say this?
Where was that said? Did Sarah provide proof of that being said?
No.
Well, then she's a fucking idiot.
I believe this is verbal. Okay. Also,
yeah, she's a fucking idiot.
She also says, why did he tell me the last day I saw him that if I ever told people what happened, that she would ruin your career and your family's life? Did you say that to her?
No, she said that. Okay, so she actually blackmailed us when we asked her to sign an NDA. She said only if she gets what she wants. and right before that, you gotta realize this girl has bipolar stuff. So not bipolar, but she has the BPD, where your memories get mixed up with your emotions. And so if she's making claims that she doesn't have any proof of, that's a problem. That's why the claims that I make, I typically have these texts to prove it. So when she's saying this, it's because she knows that, first of all, she doesn't have proof. And secondly, because there's no actual proof, like basically because she doesn't have a fake text to show, instead she's just saying it was verbal, then I can't debunk it because I can't prove that that text was fake with all the documentation that I have. This is the first time hearing it, but she definitely did tell me that if she wanted to destroy me, she could. I wasn't sure what she meant then, but obviously I know now. She could just make sure if she wanted to.
Well, of course, if I can inject my opinion, like anybody from the outside looking in is going to look at this whole scenario with you guys and Sarah as creepy. Like, you do understand, like, the public's view of this is like, there's this underage girl that's hanging out at your house for a while, right? And then when she turns 18, you hook up. I don't think you broke any laws in that scenario. I really don't. But like, people are going to see it as creepy. You do understand that, right?
What I understand is a girl told us that her mom was beating her. And when she accused her mom of beating her, her mom said, "What the f are you talking about?" She was on the phone with Kai when this happened. So I naturally, with my white knight status, wanting to be a hero, said, "Well, then you can come live with us since your mom is beating you." And I don't see how it's creepy to take somebody in who said that their mom is beating them and that they needed, safe refuge. Now, when you move on to her consistently via these texts pressuring Kai into sleeping with her constantly, when you show how hard she pushed to be with Kai as an adult and admitted repeatedly that before she was an adult, nobody dated anything. Nobody said anything to her outside Ayala, who tried to sleep with her, but Ayala was an adult at the time and a totally different person than anyone who lived in the house. Ayala has yet to be held accountable for trying to sleep with Sarah, and confirmed by Sarah via these texts, which are concrete, that she attempted to do so. But you have a person who we didn't do anything appropriate with when she was, that age, 16, 17, 14, 15, nothing ever happened. Especially since we didn't meet her till she was actually 16 in person. But again, she said her mom was beating her, so we took her in, and then she blackmails us, saying she's not going to sign an NDA after threatening to ruin her life. And so it goes in that direction just because of her blackmail.
Yeah, I want to talk about that.
So again, you could say it's creepy,
right?
But that's only if you don't know the full story. It becomes creepy when you just look at Sarah and you see how mental she is and how sick she's been to drag Kai through the gutter, knowing that she repeatedly admitted that Kai was never interested in that way.
Here's another main thing from the Onision haters, right? They say, you must believe all victims, right? And another reason why I'm mad at you is because that you just keep attacking these girls. Do you think like the internet's just not treating you fair at all? Because obviously they were saying that I was I was guilty because I wasn't defending myself, and then I defend myself and they say, "Oh, you're bullying them. Fucking idiots." I mean, that's just a strong.
You can't have it both ways.
Exactly.
Either I defend myself and you say that I'm bullying people, or I don't defend myself and you say I'm some kind of criminal.
I see in so many different ways that the internet was not giving you a fair shake. I mean, you were at a point where your channel was really, really suffering, and you were pulling like maybe 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 views. At the same exact time, the Onision Exposed videos were pulling like 500,000 views. So I felt like it was very unfair that you didn't have an actual proper chance to defend yourself. And when you did defend yourself recently on your channel and you started showing some proof, it seems like the comment section, now that you've allowed comments, that there's a lot of support there. But I'm not seeing that.
No. The comments are filtered.
Okay, that's what I wanted to get into. That's what I wanted.
The majority of people who post comments are telling me to kill myself or that I'm going to get raped in prison.
Okay, good.
That's what the comments actually are. The people who get through that system are fucking speaking sense, and they aren't following the mindless her2 fucking fraud mob.
Okay, so when you say the comments are filtered on your YouTube channel, are you blocking keywords, or are you talking about YouTube's filter?
No. It works like this. You should know. It's either allow all comments, or allow all comments but filter inappropriate comments, or just filter all comments, or simply don't allow comments.
Mm-hmm. And so
that's the four options on YouTube.
Which one?
It's the filter all comments.
Okay. So
it literally doesn't let people post unless they've said something like really helpful in the past.
Okay.
I'm not allowing people to use my videos to spread their propaganda. It's like how, Facebook allegedly cost us the election because people were simply allowed to say things in the ads that would brainwash people into believing lies. Okay, what people don't realize is that when you allow people to just sit there and when they didn't go through the situation, when they weren't there, when they don't understand what it's like to be there, when they didn't actually give the literal text that this person sends, completely condemning themselves, when they didn't give that a single look, when these people are unwilling to even see anything factual and are obsessed with their own pre-existing narrative, why would you sit there and go, yeah, sit on my page that I control and talk shit about me and spread this false narrative and completely contradict everything I said in the most dishonest way, and basically turn it into build a wall where you just dumb down everything everyone says into 3 words. So that's how the brainless masses can just like digest that. They don't want to go through and actually look at the facts. They don't want to think about what really happened. What they want to do is they want a little catchphrase like groomer, like or okay groomer, like that's all they say, because you're dealing with a bunch of fucking morons who cannot think for themselves.
Right.
So why would I let them just continue to shit on me all over my page when I really don't want to hear what they have to say? And additionally, you keep mentioning views where like, oh, these people got 500,000 views and you got whatever views. I get the views I get because I want to get the views I get when I want to get them. For instance, in December, when my Patreon was deleted, I wanted to get more views to compensate for the thousands of dollars that I was losing every single month because of someone getting my shit deleted, because I didn't crop out a number at the top of a very nice text that was very loving and very awesome. I posted that to Twitter. I was like, it wasn't nice when we were nice to each other.
Right. And
people told Patreon that I was funding doxing or something like that, which is an absolute fuck. But when people are scared of you, when people don't want to hear your side of the story,
I'm sorry
they
to
try
cut
to
you
deplatform
off,
you.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
I'll let you finish your point. But even if it was a mistake, Onision, all right, you still put that girl's number out there, right? Like, don't you feel like?
Yeah, and they immediately put my number out there, and I've been spammed ever since. The point is that when you make a mistake like that, you can't go around saying that someone's using their Patreon to fund doxing, because that's literally not what's happening. What happened was a mistake, and I wasn't proud of it. I'm not happy about it, and I'm sorry for it. But at the same time, you don't get to fire someone because they forgot to crop something out. I did correct it myself before, like, basically anyone saw it. It was like maybe probably a few hundred people who saw it, and then I realized my error, and I deleted it, and then I still got in trouble from Patreon saying that my Patreon exists to fund doxing, which everyone knows is horseshit. Even people who dislike me know that my Patreon nowhere advertised anything about doxing or incentivized doxing or encouraged doxing. It was an absolute firing on Patreon's part. But the point is that I made numerous freak out videos because I wanted people to believe their own narrative. I wanted them to think, yeah, this guy's crazy. Yeah, this guy's completely insane. And this is exactly how he would react. And that's exactly what they believed. They believed everything that I was dumping kombucha on myself. And I was like, these fucking idiots will probably believe it, even though I'm dumping kombucha on myself. These people will probably believe I live in a box and I live in a tent and I'm homeless and all these I did so many obvious hints to these people that it was fake, like smearing poop on my face, and people were like, "Oh, it's totally real. It's really poop." And like I kept doing these. I even said the same day I would release a video on that channel, and the same day I'd do a live stream with me on camera in front of my green screen, and I'd be saying, "Yeah, it's fake. I'm fucking with you guys." And none of these mindless drone idiots, Me Too frauds, would even for a second believe anything except for what they wanted to.
Yeah,
they wanted to believe my life
there
was falling apart.
Definitely there is some very unintelligent people in the anti-Onision movement. I have
It's H2H2 too.
Dude,
H2H2. They asked me to be on their show, and they said they were going to pay. They said they were going to pay me $5,000 to be on their show and get an interview. And I said, okay, pay me half up front and half when I get there. And they're like, yeah, but we got to make sure that we got to talk to you on the phone because we're not actually sure about you because you're homeless right now. And I'm like, what the are you talking about? These idiots, these grown ass men actually watched me pouring kombucha on myself, smearing on my face, pretending to live in a white plastic box, pretending I was homeless and all this shit, and obviously acting ridiculous. I cried for an entire video about how there's poo-poo on my back. Like, come on.
Right,
you were or whatever.
You were
and these guys are like, this is actually real. And that tells me that if people want to believe something, they will believe it. For instance, I uploaded a video today where I was real crying. Like, this girl had just said she was going to go off and kill herself because I had been aroused by someone I saw on TV. I said, oh, this person's attractive. She freaked out. Apparently in the video, I admitted that she broke up with me because she was so jealous. And then she said she was going to go off and kill herself. And I'm sobbing hysterically because it's such an abusive, up relationship that I had to call the cops on her twice and all that stuff. But I'm sitting there crying, genuinely. Tears are falling down my face. I was like, oh, man. So I uploaded this video from forever ago saying, man, this is like an old video. And it's crazy that I didn't respect myself and I stayed in that relationship. It's in the description. It's just the video of me crying. And people are like, crocodile tears. This is the worst acting ever. I know this is genuine. So I'm sitting here going, literally, when I'm actually showing authentic emotion, these people say it's fake. And when I'm fucking with them, they say it's real. Because, of course, when you're fucking with people, you want them to be fucked with. And that's what I was doing. And these people will only believe the narrative. And that was my conclusion. Like, I realized no matter what I do, if I say something or if I behave in a way that they think I would, then it becomes reality. If I behave in a way that they don't think I would, then it becomes an instant lie. And it doesn't matter if there's any basis of truth behind either side. It's just what they want to believe. And you know, well, that before this happens, you cannot say people liked me. You cannot say the majority of people liked me. All you can say is the majority of people hated me and they wanted this outcome. They wanted it so bad. And now they're believing it despite me releasing all these texts showing how fucking vindictive and horrible this person is.
I got 2 points that I want to make. One, when you made the videos on Shane Dawson and you were trying to expose some of his edgier comedy as him actually like being a pedo. When you were uploading the videos of Shane Dawson, like trying to expose him as a predator, and you were framing that old edgy comedy as like genuine statements, do you find that scenario like pretty ironic now that a lot of your old edgy content that you were putting out there for entertainment is being viewed as actual reality? When you were uploading the videos of Shane Dawson, like trying to expose him as a predator, and you were framing that old edgy comedy as like genuine statements, do you find that scenario like pretty ironic now that a lot of your old edgy content that you were putting out there for entertainment is being viewed as actual reality?
I'm gonna make two statements on that. The second one's a question, but the first one is what goes around comes around. Okay, so that's an important life lesson. But secondly, can you tell me exactly and if possible, get it as close to a quote as possible, what Shane in his own voice said?
Oh my God, there's so many things. I believe he was calling, I don't have the quotes right here. I believe he was calling a child that won a pageant sexy. And that was like one of the main points.
How many times did he call a 7 or 8 or 9-year-old that?
I think he was doing it a lot, like quite a lot. But you know,
okay, and what did his co-host say to him?
Don't say that. You can't say that, if I remember correctly.
And she additionally said you could go to prison to him.
Right. But but does that exclude the possibility of him joking though? I mean, even though all these
when his co-host is saying you could go to jail for what you're saying, and he's not backing down, yikes.
But I mean, that's pretty brave for him to do on a podcast. It would have to be a joke, right? Like, I see it both ways. I understand the point that you're making.
I mean, I'm not saying you don't have a point, but I'm saying that if somebody believed that was monumentally, and someone believed that the co-host was genuinely offended because they were saying that he could go to jail, if somebody believed that, I would understand where they're coming from too, because that was a really, really up situation.
Yes,
you don't have me anywhere
can't that be
being
flipped?
told I could go to jail for what I'm saying and then doubling down on what I'm saying like he did.
But can't that be flipped on you? And I'm horrible with names. It's Shyla, right? There's all this footage of you being like just so abusive to this girl, right? And of course,
give me an example.
You're like throwing stuff at her, yelling at her. She's telling you to turn off the camera. Now you say this is like this is
throwing stuff.
Yeah, I believe you threw candy corn at her, if I remember correctly.
Oh no, not candy corn.
Okay, but listen, like I need an actual response from you here, right? So in this scenario, is that real or is that acting?
Yeah, we prank people all the time.
So you're pranking people, right? So don't you find it ironic that you're saying like this old stuff and this old comedy from Shane is 100% real?
Yeah. No, he did a type of comedy that I could not fathom. And I already had bad. I mean, at the time I was talking to him casually, like everything was chill. And then someone released a highly edited video of it. And it just made it made it look so bad. And everyone was running like I think you probably remember when there was like people were hashtagging to cancel him. Like it was like people were losing their minds over
but
that.
I have been,
so it's not like I came up with a idea. Everybody was on board with me, and then he makes a video going, "I'm not a pedophile," and then everyone's like, "Oh yeah, he must not be."
But
he screamed, "I'm not a pedophile," so that must mean he's innocent. And then everyone just shifted like it was nothing. Except I was still like, dude, you can't just scream, "I'm not a pedo," and that be, oh okay, I guess that's how it is. And everybody shifted, and I was still like, what the? That's not a. It's still a thing, and it was amazing how the mob just shifted like that.
Well, you got to understand.
Then I just became the poster boy for anti-Shane, and it didn't make any sense because they were all anti-Shane 5 seconds ago.
You got to understand that you have been crucified for your old edgy comedy, right? So has Shane, and so has me. Like all of us that were on the internet back then that were just doing what was pretty much standard, being edgy, saying ridiculous stuff, have all been crucified in the present day as our jokes and comedy has been turned into like actual statements. So I hope like you have some sympathy for Shane or some understanding now that you've kind of been through the same thing.
I publicly apologized to Shane because I began to realize that you just got to be there. You got to be there to get it. And you got to actually like know the person beyond what I knew Shane, which was we had a couple, we went out to lunch and dinner and we tried to make a video together or whatever. And we collaborated on another instance or whatever. So I knew I had a general idea of who he was, but I didn't really know him. I never did a podcast with him. I never really went in depth. He invited me on a podcast, but I was so bitter that I just said, no, I'm not going on your podcast.
You made out with him.
Right. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I fucking kissed the guy too. I forgot about that. He was my first guy kiss. I was his first. How do I fucking forget that? Anyway, but yeah, no, like you have to be there, and I think that's behind all cancel culture is like people aren't there and they think they are. They think they know everything, but you have to be there to truly understand a situation. Which is why with the whole Sarah thing, nobody in my life is saying I'm predatorial because everybody was there and everybody saw it and nobody saw anything inappropriate towards Sarah or anything like that. And they understand that Sarah is the poster woman for Me Too fraud. Like she is the most disgusting, despicable person as far as when it comes to that, because she's literally trying to put Kai in prison, despite the fact that she knows well Kai rejected her constantly and had no interest in her constantly. And it took blackmail just to get her mouth on Kai. And even then Kai was still like, no.
I got to bring up this point, right? Because
go ahead.
Chris Hansen and did an interview with Sarah, right? And I believe what Sarah said was that inappropriate streams or inappropriate pictures came from Kai to Sarah prior to her ever like coming to your house when she was, I believe, 15.
Then fuck, prove it. Prove it. You know, everybody conveniently loses their text and their proof. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
Prove it. Okay, there's a shout out to Sarah and everybody who wants to be a hashtag #MeToo fraud. Have proof. Okay, you're talking about texts. You can prove those. Don't get them conveniently deleted and then say it happens. Sarah said she turned into a laptop into the cops like 6 months ago or whatever. And then she said she sent it to Chris Hansen. And then she said they sent it back to her. And then she said she turned it in again. And then she said, oh, can you donate to my GoFundMe? Because now I don't have my laptop, even though apparently it's not or has been in her possession this whole time. Like, what the fuck is the truth with this person? And if you're going to accuse somebody of sending you stuff that you could prove, i.e. if somebody sent you a text, you can prove it, then prove it. What I have is a text from Sarah saying that even a meme that was perceived as inappropriate, a Squidward meme, Sarah herself sent that meme to Kai. She herself in the text confesses she sent that to Kai, and Kai didn't do anything inappropriate to Sarah at any point ever. Those are her words, and unlike her, we actually have text proving what a fraud she is.
Do you believe that the FBI is investigating you? Like, do you think that's actually true?
I have no clue, but what I've been told is that people...
These claims are made from Chris Hansen, and then Chris Hansen was talking to the local
Chris
police.
Hansen's...
Right. But Chris
Hansen's producer already outed him.
Yeah, of course. There's a lot of problems with Chris Hansen and his investigation. Anyone that's following this story knows that. But Chris Hansen was talking, I believe, to the local police, and the local police said that they were working with the FBI to investigate you. Like, do you think that's true? And if so, like, what could they possibly have on you? Have you broken any laws?
So before I forget, Vince. Okay, I reached out to Vince, who's the former producer of Chris Hansen. People say that the Hansen page that was taken over by Vince was controlled by Vince, I guess, was fake or a troll or whatever. Nobody seems to want to listen to Vince because apparently he made a joke about me being on a short bus, which everyone's so fucking triggered by. But they'll make their own joke. Anyone else, Chris Hansen can make a joke. Again, Sarah can make a joke, whatever. Sarah was laughing on Twitter about the idea of my house burning down. She has fucking drinking parties, which she's not even 21 yet, but she's drinking openly, having Sarah, live streams or whatever.
Wait, I gotta cut you off real quick.
She's dancing and enjoying every single.
I know, but I gotta cut you off real quick because Sarah. I gotta cut you off real quick. Sarah wasn't actually like laughing about your house burning down. She was just making like a silly joke, like when she left that place burned down. It wasn't like a serious threat.
No. She retweeted somebody saying that, talking about my house burning down. She was like, LOL.
Yeah, but I mean,
maybe she removed the retweet.
Okay, I saw a tweet, and she was just basically.
And additionally, this is something crazy about Sarah, right? So she says that Kai is her best friend in the world, and she actually tweeted like I think a month ago or something that she still has love for Kai, and like she's so fucking back and forth, just like someone with BPD would be with Kai, because she knows Kai didn't do shit.
Trust me, a lot of these girls, the victims have a lot of problems. She's just trying to hurt Kai.
She's just trying to hurt Kai to hurt me. She's been doing this consistently because Kai's been so fucking quiet. Because Kai apparently is the only actual mature, responsible adult in this situation who's actually willing to rise above the fucking bullshit drama and not engage with fucking Me Too frauds like Sarah and these other people who. And this is what's weird is people say that there's a consistent story, but I haven't seen it. I don't know what the fucking consistent story is, because you're talking about people who are all consensual adults.
Yeah, when you actually, the videos that are coming out now, right, and the videos that have been coming out for the last couple of weeks from these people that make nothing but Onision videos, what they're saying is you're probably not going to go to jail, not because you're not guilty, but
inconvenient.
But there just isn't enough proof. But these are the same people that have been saying, "Oh, Onision is going to jail. The FBI is investigating. He is done." Like, so I find this whole movement.
The embarrassment is about to be overwhelming. The future for these people. Knock on wood, because, you know, typically when you say this is how it's going to go, it's not going to go that way. I just want to say, what the fuck's going to happen when nothing happens? And all these people have been crying wolf this whole fucking time.
That's true.
What happens when nothing happens? Because this is the thing, okay? This person who was investigated, this police officer, or not investigated, but this person who was talked to, this police officer, he goes on Hanson's show and he says there's been 19 incidents or whatever. You're talking about people prank calling the police and sending them to our house and then being turned away.
Right.
Like the police show up, they say, hey, is so-and-so murdered? Like, for instance, way back in the day when Sarah was hanging out for like a month or so, the police showed up and they said, we're investigating, or we're here to see if somebody is here because they've been reported as murdered. And Sarah's like, who? And they're like, it says Sarah. They say Sarah was murdered. She's like, I'm Sarah. People constantly prank the police, and the police show up, and then this guy goes on Hanson and says, oh yeah, there've been 19 incidents. There haven't been any incidents except for one horrible tragedy that occurred, which was, you know, a whole different thing with.
Is that where a young one fell out the window? Is that what we're referring to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that or not? Because I have kids and I don't like to talk about my kids.
It'd be nice not to. But what I'm saying is that there is one legitimate incident of the police being called, and that was by actually I also called it on Hanson. So I called the police on Hanson. I called the police because somebody was seriously injured, and they pulled through, and that's wonderful that they pulled through.
You gotta admit when you made the call on Chris Hansen being outside, I mean, that was funny. Like, you sounded so weird.
Yeah. It doesn't. Well, what I was shocked by is the chick didn't know who Hansen was.
Like,
I
can't blame the internet for making fun of you in that 911 call. I mean, it just seems so ridiculous.
Yeah. I should have said it was Christopher Hansen, so then it wouldn't sound so weird. But no, yeah.
Look,
Chris Hansen and 6 fucking dudes show up to my house after I'm threatening legal action against them, and I'm like, shit, I got my family inside. This guy's a fucking creep, and he's knocking on my door, and he's like, I know you're in there. And it's just like, you're a fucking creep, dude. What the fuck? And so I have 3 no trespassing signs.
I'm shocked that
he ignored them.
Right. I'm shocked that there isn't more people.
There's a police report filed on him, and he's currently being investigated by a prosecutor. So good luck with that.
Oh yeah,
but you can't be within 50. You can't be within 50 feet of a no trespassing sign. Otherwise, you risk going to jail for 90 days to a year. So that's what he's looking at. So that was real smart on his part. And he flew across the country just to not get a door answered, and a cop's called on him. Like, that's real fucking bad financial decisions on his part.
Trust me, Chris Hansen has a lot of problems. You know, a lot of different things are surfacing with him, and a lot of people are making videos on it. How do you maintain when this all blows over? Because eventually, at some point, it has to. Like, this isn't going to be going on 20 years from now. But whenever this blows over, how do you still maintain being a YouTuber and getting views and entertaining people? How do you still have a future on the platform?
Well, they tried to deplatform me on Instagram. Instagram did an investigation and concluded that I was innocent and reinstated my Instagram. What people want to do is the most vindictive and malicious shit that Me Too frauds would do. And they're just they don't want me to talk. They want me to be silent. They want me to be unable to defend myself. And that's their number one goal, because they know that they have to know deep down they're full of shit. Because nobody releases the amount of evidence I have. Nobody has someone confessing on camera to everyone that they're a fucking fraud and that this other person had done nothing inappropriate or whatever. Because like people keep saying, oh, that Kai's going to jail. Kai's not going to jail. And the reason Kai's not going to jail is because there's literally nothing on Kai. Even the dumbass who's trying to say that Kai sent photos or whatever hasn't proven shit. All she proven is that she has a photo and also has Kai's old laptop. So you're sitting here going, okay, so there's a non-sexual photo where obviously someone just forgot to crop out the bottom. There's no sexual text. There's no sexual anything. And you're trying to say that this person's a predator, you piece of shit. Like, you're a fucking backstabbing, lying, Me Too fraud piece of shit.
Okay,
and this chick has to know it. She has to know it.
We gotta end. Like, we're going on 40 minutes right now. We gotta end relatively soon. But there's one thing that I have been against you on from like the very beginning, and this happened many years ago.
Sure.
And it's when you asked your fans, and some of them you have to know are under the age of 18, but you asked your fans to send you pictures of themselves, and you would rate them, you know, whether or not they were
no, not send, not send,
Okay.
not send. I don't know where that came from. I'd never asked people to send me any photos.
Well, okay, we'll clarify it. How did that go down? Like through your website?
Post to a public forum that said 18 plus only.
Okay. So
that's what you were looking for. I asked people to post. I said adults only repeatedly on the site. There were rules against no inappropriate photos. On the site, it said 18 plus only. In my videos, I said 18 plus only. And I also said, even if you are 18, even if you are 18 plus, you still can't post inappropriate photos. So I have all these things, and nobody talks about it because they're liars and all they want are clicks.
That's great, but you had to know that underage girls would be like making posts, and for you to rate
That's
them.
where the no inappropriate photos thing comes in.
I understand, but you had to know that underage girls would do this regardless of you saying it's 18. You had to.
I wasn't thinking about. I literally. Underage girls were not crossing my mind. I wasn't sitting here going, "Oh man, is this an underage girl?" I don't know.
I just feel like
I wasn't interested in that.
I don't think
thought.
you're a stupid person. I've never thought you're a stupid
so there's
person.
There was like 6 moderators per forum or something. So the other moderators were also assigned to manage that as well and make sure that nobody was breaking rules. So, like I said, like that's why people are having a fucking time getting anything happening out of this. Is because I thought about all these things in the sense that I was like, got to make sure everything's legal, got to make sure everything's appropriate. That's why I want to do this the right way, and we did it the right way. Yet people still blew it up because that's what has made them hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's ruining my fucking life with lies, and that's why I sit here free as always because I'm not breaking laws, and I'm not doing shit that people would do to break laws. Like you've had so many YouTubers come on who are dumb as shit, and they're like, "Oh yeah, but it was a mistake. I may have done this," but no, and it's because they actually did horrible shit. You know what it looks like when you see people who don't know what the morals are, who don't know what the law is. Okay, I do.
Well,
and that's why people are having such a hard time.
These people that are making videos on you are clearly biased. Like you could just watch the video and they're like, "Oh, he's guilty." Like, okay, what? Like,
right? Yeah, look at their average views compared to the views they get when they talk about me.
They're definitely not being objective, and they're definitely pandering to this Onision hate mob that's out there. So I wanted to do this interview to give you a fair chance. And dude, there's just so much information on this. We can't go through every little thing. But I want to thank you for coming on, and I want to thank you for defending yourself. But I guess before we go, like, I want to give you the floor to say whatever you need to say that you think people need to hear. What is the most important thing? I guess let me reframe it. What is the most important thing that you know to be the absolute truth that you really want all these people that hate you to know?
My position is that people believe what they want to, and no matter what I say, no matter how much proof I show, they're so fucking unbearably stupid that they will never actually see it the way it is, and they'll continue pranking the police. They'll continue trying to ruin innocent people's lives because you either die a fucking hero or you live long enough to become a villain. And that's what these people do not realize they are. They're ruining innocent people's lives because they're so fucking self-righteous and they think that they're heroes, and they're not. And what goes around comes around, and all of them are going to see it just like I saw it when I used to go after social repose, when I used to go after Shane Dawson and all that shit, and act like I was some kind of fucking hero. I got what I gave. You know, what you put in is what you get out. So all these people, I'm sorry, dude, the universe is going to fuck you up, and it fucks me up, and that's what happens.
Did I just see, I just heard Onision take a little bit of blame and be like, hey, look, I deserve it. Like, I never expected,
100%.
I never
expected you saw me. You saw me. I was one of them. I was one of these people who could not see the good if it was slapping him in the face and was just like, oh man, if I make another video about social repose, cheating on Jacqueline with 4 women, I'm going to get the views and I'm going to feel good about myself. And look how that fucking turned out, right? That's why they say he who was out sent throw the first stone. That's why they say what goes around comes around. That's why I have all these phrases, because you act like you're a fucking hero and you either die that way prematurely or you wind up being one, because nobody's perfect. We're all full of mistakes. And when we act like we're not, oh, shit, you just wait. It's going to catch up with you. So that's just how it is. And I don't want to sit here and try to convince people, because I feel like they're just as dumb as I was. They cannot hear the truth. They can only hear their own opinions, and it takes going through this to see things the way they are. So I can't convince them. There's nothing to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to leave it right there. You heard it here from Onision. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, take the time to slap a like on it, because you know there's going to be about 95% dislikes with how hated Onision is. If you're new here and you want to keep up to date on this story and others, make sure you subscribe. Drama Alert Nation, now over 5,500,000 subscribers. Wow. We barely even scratched the surface on all